Biz Dev Live. Weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live. Weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C. Brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C. Brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is intelligent. If you watch it, I promise you benefit. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T.
And talk to us because I think this will be helpful to some people. I was hopeful when we were talking story in the beginning that you kind of go through some of this stuff because I know a little bit about your story. But talk to us about how you got in that deep, right? How did it, because I think a lot of people are under the impression that it would never happen to me.
Never, right?
It would never happen to me. So how did it get that deep for you? And then I think the other interesting thing is how did you pull yourself out, right? How did you come back for it? Because I know people are in that journey right now.
So I did not live by positive things happen to positive people. I can tell you that. I was definitely a live by the moment type of guy. So basically I was 20 years old. I made more money than I've ever seen in my life, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And I just spent more money than I made, so between credit card debt, and then I bought one house, I refinanced it, pulled the cash out, bought two more, refinanced it, pulled the cash out. I had owned 20 houses before I was 25 years old, so I learned from the people around me, the experienced guys, but they were doing it a little differently. They weren't leveraging themselves like I was, hoping on speculation. I literally would get a line of credit from someplace. I would, take that money and pay another debt off. It was a very difficult process, but at the same time, I thought I was making money doing it. Why? Because I had the nice things, the expensive cars, the nice suits, the money in the bank, but at the same time, it left just as fast, hanging out. Even when I had my son, it didn't really slow down. It was still very constant. So how did you learn? Well, in 2008, when the bank stopped lending money and you stopped really getting a paycheck, you just had to recreate yourself. You had to find something that was close enough to you that can help you make money. There really wasn't much. The mortgage was slow and steady in 2016 and 17, and it started to kind of pull its way out, and then I had a bankruptcy in 2016. I did a Chapter 7. It was close to $3 million, and you know what? I made sure I didn't fall back into that same credit card debt again. I bought a car. I leased a car that was economical, a $200-something a month. It wasn't $7. But it doesn't just stop there. The insurance is more expensive too now. And I packed my own lunches instead of, went and bought a $10 or $12 salad. It just, those little changes.
And let me ask that question, right? So I think a lot of people, when they're examining these kind of changes in their life, right? And because you're talking about situation, I was watching the movie Hardball the other day with Keanu Reeves and a young Michael B. Jordan in the movie. And he's into the bookies, right? He's gambling on bets and he's living this lifestyle of, I'm going to, take this money out over here, bet on it, and then I'll pay off 1,000%. My loan over there. Not a good strategy, for anyone, right? But he's doing that kind of thing. And then he's sort of getting to this breaking point of like, man, this isn't the way, that I need to live. And so he stops, and it's a movie. So it's a little, idyllic.
You know what? None of that ever happens because they take the money and they actually gamble with it. I gambled my entire life. I will not gamble anymore. I don't bet on anything. I don't even. There's no fixation anymore. There's no fixation to go to the casino.
But that's what I was talking about. You were gambling, taking the money from here, and you're saying I'm going to get it back, and I'm going to get it back, and I'm going to get it back. It's going to happen, and then you go through this transition and you start saying, all right, I'm going to not live that lifestyle. And then you start doing things that are very humble, right? Packing the lunches.
1,000%.
But I think a lot of people don't do that, right? They say, well, you know what? It's not going to save that much money, but it obviously made a difference and an impact in your life.
Well, just not financially necessarily, but emotionally, you know, physically, it does something to you, you know, when, you know, other guys can go to a restaurant and you just know you can't afford it. It's just not in your mix. It's either doing that or putting food on your table for your son, right? So you start having to think, and then I had my daughter, you know, so now I have to feed more mouths, you know, and it just, you do whatever you can, man, to continue going. I was working 14, 15-hour days just to recreate myself. I would do my social media and my marketing, you know, at 4 or 5 a.m., do my openings at 5 and 6 a.m. You know, so finding the company that I have now, I'm fortunate enough to be able to get out of those dinosaur days. And with Total Mortgage, it gave me that technology push. All right, they were way more tech savvy. They had the same vision that I had with the Zillow, and that's what I was getting to, you know, where I saw the envision with Zillow. I wrote, you know, hey, I can get reviews, I can validate myself, and let me get to a place where, you know, that's part of what I talk about every day, you know, and I was just consistent, man. Every day I did the same thing day in and day out. You know, it wasn't the insanity trade, it was consistency. And I worked with the right people, friends, family members, people that I entrusted to take it to another level. And, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be in this spot now, and I'm fortunate enough to be with an awesome company, Total Mortgage, you know, and
talk to us. So
there are a big reason why we're out of, you know, the banking industry is a big reason now why we're out of the whole crisis.